Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, I believe we have a pretty interesting show for you guys that we want you guys to stick around for, so please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, Charles Barkley is one of the most outspoken people in sports and in media in general, right? Sometimes he makes you laugh, sometimes he makes you angry, all right? That's just the nature of it. Obviously, he has some comments that he made about Kyrie Irving that, they covered in the news a lot, all of that stuff. But if you look at Charles Barkley historically, given the level of candor that he speaks with on TV, it causes him to, obviously gain a lot of followers because they like somebody that tells it like it is. But also when he talks about NBA players, he's created situations in which he has some clashes with some guys, some public clashes. You can think of the one that he had with LeBron James a number of years ago. You can think about some of the, clashes he's had with players like DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond Green, and others. And also you can think about Kevin Durant, right? Where, remember the time he was interviewing, he was asking Kevin Durant a question on TV post-game during the game, and then KD just gave him like a one-word answer and kept it moving. And it seems like, again, Charles is kind of having another clash with Kevin Durant. Now, recently, he went on Taylor Rooks' show to talk about basketball, right? And while he was there, he made some comments that seemed to irritate Kevin Durant to the point where he had to publicly respond to Charles Barkley. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Charles had to say. It's not very long, about a minute or so. And then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what Charles Barkley had to say here.
I actually like Kevin. I think that he's a great player. I think he's actually a good dude. I think he's insecure at times. He gets mad when the old guys like myself saying he got to win a championship away from the Golden State Warriors. And I know he got offended by that, but that's not my job to worry about people's feelings.
I think the issue that comes sometimes from players and people in the media is, for example, right now for you to say, I think he's insecure, right? It's like, what data have we collected, or what conversation have you had with him personally to be able to label him as an insecure person?
Taylor, there's levels to this. You don't have to react to every fool. When I talk about insecurities, like, man, everybody's opinion doesn't matter. You don't need burner phones. You're Kevin Durant. You can say whatever the hell you want to, but you don't have to react to every single thing.
So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say about Kevin Durant. Now, what we want to do is we want to read his response that he posted on Twitter about Charles Barkley, about what he said about him. He wrote, "This clown does not have G14 classification," that's he's referring to to Shaquille O'Neal, "to speak on the God. We've never had a real human interaction. Carry on. Ha!" So you heard what KD had to say to Charles Barkley there. Now, y'all know Shaq is the one that talks about this G14 classification. What is he talking about? He's talking about the fact that once you win an NBA championship, you now have G14 classification. Basically, you're now qualified to say certain things. So that's what KD was referring to. Now, to the point about Charles, to the points that Charles Barkley was making, let's first of all address the first thing, which is you have to be the man. You have to be, you have to prove that you can win a championship without Stephen Curry and these guys. First of all, I think that argument that Charles is putting forward is one that he's been using for years, and I think it's something that a lot of NBA fans concur with. I remember Charles Barkley saying this about Kobe after they lost to the Boston Celtics in 2007, I believe, 2007, 2008. And he said that, you have to win you got to be the man. When you win the championship, you have to be the man, right? When you do it. And then Kobe obviously won 2 in a row, got that monkey off his back, right? Actually won more championships without Shaq. And then, so I understood that argument from them, from that point forward. I understand that to a large degree. I think that was also something that was working against Stephen Curry. You would have to be out of your mind to think that Stephen Curry was better than or on a higher level than Kevin Durant, although he had more championships, when Stephen Curry never won a championship as the sole guy. And as a matter of fact, the first championship he won, Andre Iguodala is the person that won the finals MVP. Steph really started getting this top 10 consideration when he won that championship last year as the guy, as the finals MVP. It did wonders for him. Same thing that it did for Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Giannis It works in the reverse of with Giannis. If Giannis now joins the Golden State, wins 3 other titles, someone's going to talk. Why? Because he won a championship on his own, right? So these singular championships, the same one with Kawhi, when Kawhi won that championship with the Toronto Raptors, they carry a lot of weight. So I understand what Charles Barkley is saying. And from that standpoint, he makes a valid point that I believe a lot of NBA fans agree with. Now, here's why I think Kevin Durant responded to Charles in that moment. I believe he did it for 2 reasons. Number one, obviously, Charles Barkley never won an NBA championship. I do believe he went to the finals and lost to Michael Jordan. And also, I believe he won a league MVP. So it's not like as if he doesn't deserve to be one of the 50, 75 greatest players of all time. No one is saying that at all. But I think from KD's standpoint, he's like, well, wait a minute. You don't have the hardware to be so critical of me. And that now goes directly back to the point that Shaq makes. And I think a lot of NBA fans also agree with that line of thinking. Like, wait a minute, you can't have non-champions commenting on champions. And I'll give you guys an example of this. Like when Gilbert Arenas was trying to make all of those comments about Giannis Antetokounmpo. People didn't take him seriously. Like, wait a minute, what the hell did you accomplish for you to be feeling like you can comment on Giannis Antetokounmpo? People did push back on him for that simple fact, right? So the point that KD made is not like, it's not like he's just being defensive. He's making a valid, he's speaking from a valid standpoint. Now, I think the other thing that irks KD about Charles Barkley is simply this. I think by Charles making those comments, it's rehashing the talking point, the number one talking point for this entire offseason, which has been this. Ever since Stephen Curry won that championship, that 4th championship without KD, the number one talking point has been, what has KD won without Steph? And I think when Charles brings up that point, when he makes those statements, it reignites that conversation. And that's what I believe is irking KD, because maybe in Kevin Durant's mind, he's saying to himself, wait a minute. When I was on the Golden State Warriors, I was clearly the best player on that team. And I think that you would have to be really insincere to say that Steph and KD were close in those finals. It wasn't close. The second finals, KD was actually trying to give away the finals MVP so Steph could win it, and he still couldn't win it. So Kevin Durant was obviously the best player, for the Golden State Warriors in that series. Some people may argue LeBron was the overall best player in that series, whatever. But so I think from that standpoint, KD's like, yo, bro, what are you talking about? Did you see me? Did you see what I was doing in those? Did you see those clutch shots that I was hitting? Right? Didn't you see those guys struggling without me before I got to the team? And then some people say, but KD, you joined a little. So I understand both arguments here. I think the only way KD can ultimately quench this argument is just to go out there and win a championship. Period, end of story. If you wanted to stop, just do that. And all of a sudden, I believe these people won't have anything to say. So these are my thoughts, opinions. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Charles Barkley had to say about KD? What do you think about that entire interaction? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.